And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Channel Pro 5-Minute Roundup. Look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the Channel Pro Network, also a co-host of this program. I am joined with you in person this week with your other co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement advisor to MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, tell the folks why we are in the same room for the first time in a while.
Because, Rich, for another unique time this year, we are together at an event, and this time it's in Miami Beach, Florida, and it is the Ingram Cloud Summit 2022.
First time that Ingram actually has done this event in person since 2019. I was told at one point that there were about 1,000 people here. It felt like it was pretty well attended. If you're from Seattle, this is a pretty nice time of year to be in Miami, so no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's a little humid, but hey, it's a small price to pay for being in such a great location and, great content here, Rich, great conversations, and boy, do they know how to put on 5 or 6 independent after parties all at the same time at different locations and coordinated in such a way that allows you to walk down the boardwalk of the beach to each one of these at different little hotels and have a little different experience at each one. So great experience. Glad to be back on the road.
This is the logistical know-how that comes from years in distribution. Apparently, it's handy in party planning as well. Well, you know what? Our top story this week comes from this show. As a matter of fact, as we're recording this for you, this story broke just a few hours ago officially, and it's the rollout of a new platform for Ingram's partners called Xvantage. Now, as I describe it to you, it might sound to you a little bit like a partner portal. The folks at Ingram are really at pains to say that this is not just another partner portal. The terms that they use to describe it are either digital experience for partners or digital twin. Basically, what they're trying to do is create an online presence that pulls together everything, everyone, anything that you need in order to do business with Ingram Micro in one place. So let's kind of run through some examples of how that works. First of all, this will be something that you, if you're an Ingram partner, are using. The exact same platform, though, will be used internally by Ingram's employees and by Ingram's vendor partners. And part of the thinking there is everybody's on the same platform, using the same interface, sharing the same database. It's going to make communicating and collaborating and going to market together a lot easier. Over time, now I should say that they unveiled this platform today. It doesn't officially start to become available to partners until this summer in the US and Germany, with a worldwide rollout to follow. But when it rolls out this summer and over time, it's going to replace a lot of separate tools that you're using to do business with Ingram right now. And the goal is for this to be the fabled single pane of glass, essentially, for interacting with Ingram. And what's particularly strategic about that from Ingram's point of view is that they view the fact that you can get your cloud solutions and your physical products, your endpoints and your back-end infrastructure from them. But instead of having to go separate places in order to transact that business, it's all going to be one place going forward. They've got some machine learning technology that they're using to look at your buying history and your customer history and your use history on the website, and to tailor the look and feel and what kind of gets most visible to you on the site to your particular persona. And then maybe last but not least, because this points to something even bigger, I think, down the road for Ingram. And they're also going to be studying that data about who you are and who you do business with and how you use this site for analytics purposes. And they are planning to bring to your attention potential solutions that you can offer to your customers that they are not using now, that, sales opportunities that might not be obvious to you. And they made a point from the main stage yesterday, Eric, of talking about data and analytics as really a strategic future emphasis for them. They feel like they have a lot of information right now about end users and partners and buying habits, and by correlating some of that information, they can kind of figure out what a customer might need before maybe even the customer realizes that they need it, and point that out to a partner, and put a sales opportunity on your table that you might not otherwise have thought about. Like I say, brand new thing. It's designed. This is part of a partner satisfaction, partner experience push that the folks at Ingram first talked to me about a little bit 3 years ago at one of their conferences. There have been 1 or 2 manifestations of that between then and now. This is a particularly big one. They're very excited about this, and we'll see if it really does make life easier for their partners.
Well, Rich, from my side of the fence, very ambitious, right? It's very aspirational, and the ability for a partner now to have a simplified, condensed way to check inventory, to price, to quote, to manage licensing and all that. This is the nirvana that partners are looking for, right? Because as you mentioned, how many panes of glass are you in all day, every day, just trying to deliver service to your clients and provide for their needs? And, what's really interesting is, that little bit of the AI component that says, oh, well, based upon your previous buying habits, it almost feels a little bit like, the Amazon recommendations, right? Amazon knows everything I buy, and they're good at introducing me to different things, right? So this, probably in addition to making life simpler for partners to engage with Ingram and to manage that relationship with them in these other ways, it probably will also help encourage them to introduce these new products and services, or at least have them top of mind when they're doing their typical strategic business reviews with clients and things like that. So I like the progress, or I like the evolution. Anything that can reduce the complexity and the noise in the background for MSPs, count me in.
I had a conversation about this on the other podcast I do, ChannelPro Weekly, earlier today, and we were kind of talking about how it's ultimately going to come down to the execution. So I mean, the idea, what they're aspiring to do, sounds really, really great. And so the question is just going to be, when they do make a solution recommendation to you, is it something that's relevant to your customer, and that they at a reasonable percentage rate actually go ahead and invest in? Do they give you enough solution recommendations, but not too many? So we'll kind of have to see how this plays out. But the idea of Ingram being proactive about sales opportunities for you that obviously translate to revenue for them as well, utilizing analytics, utilizing artificial intelligence, is a very appealing concept.
Right. And if you really, peel another layer of the onion back on the promise of AI, I could see it evolving, and maybe it's already on the roadmap. I am not privy to these internal conversations, everybody, but I could see Ingram saying, oh, based upon what you're delivering to your clients, here's what other best-in-class MSPs kind of like you are also delivering, and maybe even, revealing some sort of markup or margin information, non-uniquely identifiable things that can help you, raise your business acumen and compete at another level, just by exposing some non-uniquely identifiable information about what other MSPs are doing. That could be really valuable.
And we're speculating here, but I will say that they made a point of emphasizing to me yesterday that you're going to see more tools like this coming out at a faster clip in the months ahead. They're by no means done, and this is part of a much bigger initiative that's aimed at partner experience, but also partner success. So it wouldn't be out of keeping with that at all if they were looking for ways for their partners to understand what best in class peers are doing, and mimic that as well. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. Now, we are talking here about some things that you will be getting from Ingram that you may not even know that you wanted or needed until you actually get them. But Eric, your tip of the week has to do with something that most folks in our audience really normally do want from their partners.
Absolutely, Rich. Thanks for teeing it up. And we're talking about MDF, Market Development Funds. These are funds that vendors and strategic partners make available to their channel partners to help market and lead gen and create more revenue opportunities for them. And so, if you haven't really explored the opportunity to request MDF from funds from your vendors, just a few quick tips, right? Tip number one, um, ask every one of the vendors that you do business with, do they have an MDF program, a program that they help defray the cost of your marketing? Sometimes that help comes in various forms. It could come in the form of money. It could come in the form of discounts. It could come in the form of swag or devices or licenses, right? What can a vendor do that you can leverage to promote events or engagements or even meetings? If you're doing live events, a lunch and learn or business breakfast, they may even be able to provide a speaker to come out and speak on a topic, right? And deliver something that you can give away to generate that interest and get folks to attend. Now, maybe some of your vendors don't have an official MDF program. What do you do then? Well, come to them with a great idea and say, look, I'd like to do this kind of event. Here's what I'm forecasting in terms of attendance. Here's how much of your product or services, or which of your products or services I'm going to be introducing to these folks. Here's what my forecast looks like if this much percentage of the folks actually, consume that product or service. And here's the revenue that I think we'll be generating together. And sometimes you can, create partnerships of, affinity vendors that don't compete with each other, but are complementary to each other. And you may be able to get 2 or 3 vendors together to help defray the cost of those types of events. So if your cost, all in is $4,000 or $5,000, hey, get a few vendors to partner together at a couple $1,000s each, and you can put these things on. And the last tip that I'll give you is, no matter how you participate in a vendor's MDF program, understanding what their program is and applying for those funds, or putting something together ad hoc, bespoke, if you will, with some other vendors who may not have an official MDF program, or a combination of all three, do the following, right? Send reporting to those vendors. Let them know how many folks registered. Let them know how you've categorized those folks for follow-up, and let them know what the potential opportunity is from a dollar figure of what you're going to be presenting to them when you do meet with them. How many appointments you've set, what does the sales funnel look like? And even if, worst case scenario, nobody bites, right? At least you're providing your strategic vendor partner more data and information than the majority of their other partners typically do, so that they're more apt and willing to continue to fund your efforts because they're seeing you making the effort and you're documenting that effort. So many partners, Rich, forget that simple fact that, hey, let me at least provide some sort of visibility into the activities so that they know that we're doing what we can. And hey, let's try it again. Let's tweak it this way. And you become that more visible go-to partner. And not only does that free up the opportunity for more MDF, Rich, but it also allows that visibility to influence your vendor partners to send you leads. It's happened to me way back in my MSP practice too, is the more visible you become and working with these vendors, and they're seeing you're really, helping to position their brand and message and to introduce their products and services to your prospects and existing clients, the more apt they're willing to help you out with other leads as well.
Yeah, a lot of really good stuff there, and I'll just kind of highlight 3 things, because it's 3 things basically that too few channel pros do, and if you do them, they will probably pay off. And one is right where you began, is to ask, because how many times have we heard about vendors who have MDF dollars that don't get spent at the end of the fiscal year, and nobody came to take them. So don't assume that your vendor partners do not have MDF or that you don't qualify. Go ahead and ask. And then the other 2 things things are really more on the execution by the channel partner. And one is have a plan, because that will differentiate you from a lot of your peers out there. If you don't just kind of come and say, hey, I want to do some marketing, do you have dollars? If you come with them with a concept for what you want to market and how you want to do it and how you want to work with them, you're going to stand out a little bit, and that's going to make you a more appealing MDF kind of partner. And absolutely, you know, where you were kind of wrapping things up, Eric, when you're done, if you are rigorous about documenting the results, even if the results aren't home run results, you know, if you can kind of show that you were keeping close track of that, that's going to differentiate you as well. So I think those three pieces of advice are really good ones.
No, good takeaways, Rich. Absolutely.
All right, and they leave us with time for just one more story this week, folks, and it comes to us from the Annals of Science, another great moment in the Annals of Science, actually, specifically the Whiting School of Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. They were doing their engineering design day, and a group of students at the school came up with something that they are calling tasty tape. Now, I don't know if it's tasty exactly, but I love the use case that they have addressed with this product that they invented here, because it's tape that you can use to tape your burrito together so that it doesn't fall apart while you're eating it. It, like I said, may or may not be tasty, but you can eat it. It's edible, and your burrito will hold together while you're eating. Now, speaking as a guy who pretty routinely has, I mean, heck, I have sandwiches unravel on me sometimes. I like the tasty tape concept. I could see this really making my life neater and happier when I'm eating a burrito.
Rich, I expect to see that on a Shark Tank episode, right? It just got that kind of sizzle to it to me. I don't know.
Absolutely. Solid gold, folks. You heard it here first. And you know what? We thank you very much for listening to the program, watching the program again this week. That's all the time we have. Just FYI, I am on vacation next week, but we will be back with another episode of the show here, also recorded at the Ingram Micro Cloud Summit. So please tune back in. You know what? You can tune in both to our video and our podcast. So if you're watching the video right now, but you listen to podcasts sometimes, wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Google or Apple or Stitcher or Spotify, you name it, you're going to find us there. Please subscribe, rate, review. Takes you a couple seconds, and we really appreciate it. Your peers will appreciate it because it'll make it easier for them to find the show. If you are listening to us now, but you would like to see this beautiful conference room that we are broadcasting from this week, the easiest thing to do is go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. There, too, you can become a subscriber. If you click the little bell icon there, you'll get notified when the new episodes go up. You can read all of my reporting from the Ingram Micro Cloud Summit. You can also get great business growth advice for your company every day on our website, channelpronetwork.com. And if you want to learn more about Eric and the work he does with his clients, you need to visit ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So once again, folks, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back again with you next week. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.